Hi, I wanted to give you a tour of our equipment so that you knew what we were going to be in for this semester. So we're going to start by talking about a tackle box, and let's see if you can see this. This is my tackle box from Home Depot. It costs about $8. It's huge, and I can keep everything in here. Now, you may not need to have a tackle box because you don't have to travel back and forth from school this semester, so don't worry too much about that. But you do need some sort of container that you can put all your equipment in and keep it together because you don't want it to get lost. So the second thing on our supply list is an architect scale, and you can see it says architect on it. And we'll get a chance to use that a little bit this semester. You'll need an X-Acto knife, or you could use a utility knife, but I really like X-Actos. They're very refined. You need sandpaper. This is a little sandpaper pad, 100 grit, and it's for sharpening pencils. Well, let me rephrase that. It's for shaping the lead on a pencil. So this is how we shape the lead for a pencil. There, I'm gonna put that down. So masking tape. Oops, I skipped the... This is a 18-inch ruler, and you'll notice that it's got cork on the back, and that's so that when I want to cut things, I can cut things with it and get a nice straight edge. So always get them with cork on them. Here's the masking tape. You can use masking tape or drafting dots, and we use it to tape our paper down at certain times, so you don't need a whole lot. This is probably plenty. I think this is from CVS, so you can find that in lots of different places. So this is an eraser shield, and we use this when we're erasing to protect parts that we don't want to erase. So maybe later on in the semester when you're working on a really carefully built drawing, this might really come in handy. Pink Pearl eraser looks like this. You really want it to say Pink Pearl. 99-cent store versions of these can be really crappy and really disappointing, so I don't recommend them. Also, a white plastic eraser looks like this. The Pink Pearl is for things that are a little bit harder to get off your paper. The plastic eraser is for lead on paper. And then a kneaded eraser. This is our kneaded eraser. When I open this package, I can smush it all up into a ball, and this is great for soft leads and charcoal. So I mentioned masking tape. It's on the list twice. I'll have to make sure I take that off. Wood drawing pencils. So these are not like your standard number 2 pencils. You'll notice that there's no eraser on the end. They come in numbers. Like this is a 4B and a 2B pencil, and I've asked you to get several of them, an HB, a 2B, a 4B, and a 6B. And we'll be using those to draw with in class. So we actually try not to use like a regular pencil because we want to be able to control the lead. And in order to use one of those, you'll need a pencil sharpener. This is a little pocket sharpener. When you sharpen a pencil with this, the filings fall all over the ground, so you want to be careful where you are with it. This is one that has a little container that captures the filings. You notice they have both of them have 2 holes in them. One is for colored pencils, one is for regular pencils. So that's how you protect the leads on your colored pencils. This one, you'll notice, also has a container. It only has 1, and that's pretty typical, but either will do fine. Graphite stick. This is a pretty well-used graphite stick. I've asked you to get a 6B, and this one is nice and soft and shiny and lots of fun to draw with, so we'll be using those in class. Vine charcoal looks like this. And it's really thin, and it's actually made out of grapevines. So it's a thin grapevine that they turn into charcoal. And this is willow charcoal. Willow charcoal is a lot thicker and a little bit less shiny. And so that's a totally different method of using charcoal. And they both have different reasons to be used. Conte crayons. These are my Conte crayons. I don't have a white one in here. I have a black and a sanguine. This is a brown. I've asked you to get black, white, and sanguine, but my white disappeared. So you'll be okay. You'll be able to figure it out. You'll know what that looks like because you're going to look at that box and see that. Or you'll see the word Conte crayon on it. These are called sketching crayons. It's the same thing. And the colors look like that on the back of this box. You don't need to get this many, you just need a few, but that's a box I have. This is a tortillon, and these can be sharpened in your pencil sharpener, which is a little nutty. And it's just rolled paper, and we use them to smudge our drawing, so they help us to refine our drawings a little bit. A Japanese ink brush. This is one I've had for a while. I don't know where I got it, but it looks like that. It's just bamboo and some bristles on the end. I found this at Daiso for $1.50. So those are 2 brushes. You could buy one of those and split it. A bamboo sketching pencil looks like this. And this one has 2 ends. Not all of them do, but you want to at least have one end on it that has this little hole in it. And we'll use those for inking. And the next thing on the list is black India ink, and it comes in different types of bottles. It could come in this kind of bottle, it could come in this kind of bottle, and I like to put it in a little jar so that I don't have any problem dipping my pen in there. That's what you want to make sure you can do. So I mentioned the ruler, that's on there twice. How about that? Archival sketchbook. The sketchbook is a big deal in this class. We'll be using the sketchbook all the time, and I wanted to show you a couple of different types. So this is a smaller one. This one is 5.5 by 8.5, and I think I said 6, no smaller than 6, but you can get away with this size. I think that it's easier to draw, especially when you start out with a larger sketchbook. So this is another version of a larger sketchbook. And notice that these are hardbound and they have white paper in them. Both of them are archival. That's really important. You don't want the paper to come out or to fade. You don't want anything to fade on that paper. If you travel a lot, if you're planning on, if you're out and about and you go to work and all that, then a smaller one might be more convenient because you should have this with you all the time. But if you're staying home, like I am mostly, then a big sketchbook should be fine. You don't have to complain about it being heavy in your backpack. A couple other versions could be, these are spiral bound. The problem with the spiral bound sketchbook is that if you're using pencil in it, the pages rub together because you can see the binding moves. And when they rub together, it fades the pencil, and it can be very disappointing. This is another style sketchbook and a different style sketchbook. You can see I have quite a collection, but I want you to find a sketchbook with plenty of blank white paper. If you don't get a large enough one, you may need a second one. Figure we're going to be doing a minimum of 2 drawings a week, and you might take all your notes in there. So it's really important to have a good one. A Masonite drawing board is going to really serve us this semester. So if you don't have a setup at home, especially this kind of board will give you an opportunity to draw anywhere. You can take it with you and lean your paper on it, and I'll show you how to use it later in the semester. This one has clips on the end, and I always recommend that you get either a rubber band or some sort of other additional clip to hold the other edge of the paper. So information about the size is on your board, on your paper there. Okay, where are we here? 50 to 100 sheet of newsprint. So this is newsprint. Newsprint is really thin. You can see it's really like flimsy and floppy. And we use newsprint in this class because I want you to get used to drawing as much as possible without worrying about wasting paper. So this, you could even find this at IKEA just at the end of the cash register, and that they use it for wrapping stuff there. So it's not very expensive, and having 50 or 100 sheets would be plenty, and you might even use the whole pad if you get used to drawing a lot, which I really would really like you to do. I think that'll help with your success. I've asked you to get a couple of sheets of this paper. This is called Mid Tientes paper, and you can see it's got a really nice texture, and we'll talk about it later on in the semester. Here's the label for it. If I can get it in front of the camera. That's the label for it. And this is called flannel gray, and that's the color that I asked you to purchase. And then you'll need 2 sheets of the flannel gray and 2 sheets of that same paper, but in white. Or actually 3 sheets, I ask, and that's for the final project, so you don't need to get that right away. And then of course you need just some plain printer paper so we can do some exercises in the beginning, and hopefully you have that just wherever you are. So there's a couple of things I said were optional. One is a water brush. It looks like this. It's got a cap. You can see this is pretty well used. Brush. And it holds water. And this can be really nice to use with the ink and also the charcoal and the graphite. Sometimes it's really fun to add water to our drawings, and I'll show you how to do that this semester. Not a requirement. This is a little Winsor Newton Cotman paint kit, and it's stuck shut because of the heat. So, but it looks like that. They come with a little paintbrush, and they're probably somewhere between $15 and $20. And so it's not required, but if it's something you're interested in learning about, I'm happy to share some of my expertise. And then finally, Prismacolor color pencils. Now it looks like the print may be backwards on here, but you'll recognize the graphics on the box, and we'll get to talk about that idea of recognizing graphics as we go along. Okay, hope that helps.